And welcome to the celebrated nightly news of Calaveras County. My name is John, and we have a special guest tonight. Jenny Baxter is here joining us tonight on camera. Now, she has some fun, exciting stuff to talk about, and tonight's hump day, so we're going to take a little bit of a lighter touch to it, because we've got, last night was really hard Board of Supervisors stuff. Tonight's going to be a little more lighthearted, and then tomorrow night we'll do our weekend preview piece. Yeah. Now, Jenny, we're talking about little anniversary little things here. Now, 10 years ago, tell us what happened.
Yes, 10 years ago, the highlight of my life. My dream came true. I've been dreaming about since I was 11. And I'm not telling you how old I am now, but that doesn't matter. I came home from school one day, and I played my messages, and I heard this message, and I said, what? And I played it again, and I played it again, and then I realized it really was real, and it said, "Hi, this is Linda Anusakananan from Sunset Magazine. We want to talk to you about doing an article in our magazine." John, I about fainted.
Cool.
I about fainted. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I was just speechless.
Now, you were saying that this had been a goal of yours since you were
11 years old.
11 years old.
Whenever I was little, my mother had the house full of Sunset magazines,
Right.
And I'd look at them and I'd go, one of these days, I'm going to be in that magazine. Kids have dreams like adults do,
Right.
Never dreaming it was really going to come true, but, you know how we do. We kind of set these goals and have these dreams, and, and then when it came through, I was so excited. And so anyway, I called Sunset back, and I'm talking to Linda Anusakananan. I'm surprised I can even remember her name now, but let me tell you, that day will forever be in my mind. So I said, how did you find out about me? She said, well, you were recommended by someone named Jan Hovey. Thank you, Jan Hovey.
So Jan did a recommendation.
Yeah, Jan did a recommendation.
Nice.
She had to recommend 2 or 3 people that were into food from our area. One of them was someone from a restaurant, and then myself, and I don't remember who the third one was. So anyway, they said, well, what do you do at Christmas time? And I'm thinking, well, they probably want to see some of our area, so maybe I better talk diesel turkeys or something. And I said, well, what about a diesel turkey? She said, well, we just had turkey at Thanksgiving. And I said, oh, well then, what I really do is beef. Each year I pick a different beef dish to do. She said, let's talk. So she sent me all the information that I needed, and I sent it back to them. And they called me and said, we want to interview you. So they came and interviewed me.
Nice.
And then they moved in for 3 days. It was the most exciting time of my whole life.
To do all the photo shoots?
To do all the photo shoots.
Wow.
I mean, I learned more things about food and how to present food in those 3 days, which I could never use in my catering.
So they spent more time prepping than we did here at Starbucks before we started this tonight?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. Hey, John, I can make you meltless ice cream.
Meltless.
A little lard, shortening,
Sure.
Some powdered sugar. You whip it together and scoop it out, and it never melts. Isn't that great?
It's wonderful.
And if you also want to know how the steaks look so fresh, like they just came off the grill, they have a little hand torch, and they go around, they sizzle all the fat. Now, let me tell you, they went to Molly Brown's, one of the most expensive yuppie markets in that area, and picked up beautiful, beautiful filet mignons. I mean, they were marbled to perfection. Well,
they burned them with a torch?
Well, actually, they stuffed them and baked them according to my recipe, and then put them in the oven and cooked them and pulled them out. And God Almighty, I was just salivating. I just wanted to have a bite, because this recipe is the absolute best. So then, how do you prepare the beans? Blah, blah. I thought I was going to be doing all this. No, they brought their cooks with them to just use my recipes and do it, okay?
So you were just observing.
I was just observing, watching them prepare my meal. So they're going to take film now. Still film, okay? So I don't know how many hundreds of rolls that they went through. So they would mound plastic into a ball and put it into my beautiful China serving dish, and then just mound the beans on that. So you look like you had this huge hump of beans. It was great. So anyway, we all get to the table, and we're cutting off the serving pieces, and we're there. And I'm just ready to take a bite, and they said, make sure you don't eat the meat. And I said, what do you mean? They said, no, we can't, because it would be a health hazard. It's been sitting out too long. So all that beautiful filet mignon roast went to my son's German Shepherds.
Oh, wow.
God, it was fabulous. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, and I guess don't know how to say this, but one of the things is, do you think that, because we were talking about before we started going on air, was that the age of the internet and stuff is kind of speeding things up. But do you think it's maybe have hurt things as well, because now we expect to do everything right now?
Absolutely.
And so do you think that, because you were saying that they spent 3 days prepping with all the intricate...
Exactly.
And do you think in some of that, as the pace of things speeds up, that some of that is getting lost?
No.
Okay.
And here's why. Because Sunset is so meticulous about what they do and how it's done. I had, at the time when I lived in Arnold, I had 3 beautiful skylights in my kitchen area.
Right.
They waited till the light was just perfect in those skylights, and then they put up their white umbrellas from different angles and shot it. They didn't care. I mean, they want perfection, and they get perfection. And they're the nicest people on earth to work with, honest to God.
Yeah.
I mean, they came in and rolled up the rugs and lifted the crystal chandelier and shot from above and below and on the side. And oh, God, it was fabulous. Fabulous.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. 10 years. Yoo! Yeah.
10 years. Now, tell us what's going on with you now. I mean, you've got all kind. I mean, obviously, if people see you on the Pine Tree net and also on cable, they still see your shows and everything else. Now, you're coming up on. You're doing catering, all kinds of stuff with your rubs. Tell what's going on. What are you doing now?
Well, I'm trying to get my rubs at this point out of Calaveras County. Thank you, Calaveras. You've been so good to me for the last couple of years, and it's time to kind of take that next step out. So I'm working with a food distribution company, and I went to Sacramento over the summer, and they sampled my wares and loved them. I was so proud.
Good.
And there was one gentleman there that makes the final decision, and he wasn't there. He was gone at that point. So I'm waiting now for him to get back to me, and if he says yay, I'm there. So I'm so excited. And then I'm also going to try to distribute in the Bay Area as well. So
Very nice.
And we'll hit all the great markets.
Oh yeah.
So I'm so excited. I just can't wait. And I'm working on a second cookbook. I made a mistake the first time that I published my cookbook because I thought to myself, okay, the more I have in my bio, the better I'll be.
Right.
So I published my cookbook, Jenny Loves Olive Oil, and then I had written another cookbook, and I put it out to the business literary world. And they said, well, who was your first publisher? And I said, well, I was.
Yeah.
And they said, well, that doesn't look good in the literary world. So, what do? You live and learn.
Right.
So the second one, I'm not, which was actually my first one I already had written before my second. I'm just going to wait until I make it really big time, and then you can all buy it then. So
basically, you need somebody to shill it for you.
Exactly.
To publish it, to do it. Otherwise,
Because, I went out on my own, and I went to Barnes & Noble and got the writer's market and went through and highlighted everybody I thought would be interested in this book and sent them out. Unless you have an agent, nobody wants to talk to you. Nobody wants to talk to you. So, and this is, I guess it's their life. I don't know. Hey, by the way, Happy New Year, Calaveras.
Happy New Year.
And to you too, John, and your wonderful family.
And Happy New Year to you too, Jen.
Thank you.
I think this week's kind of really been the first work week for everybody, huh?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everybody is always, back to...
back to the alarm. Oh, God. Buttons going off in the morning, But, I'm so grateful to have a job. So, you do what you have to do when you have to do it,
Yes, you do.
Now, this time of year, there's really not a lot going on in this month because you're waiting for all the bills to come in through all the plastic you burned for Christmas. Everybody's broke, so what do? Well, let me tell you what you do. You bring out that big box you've been throwing all those photos into.
Yeah.
Someday you're going to put them into a book. This is the month to do that with, Bring a board game, come down to Starbucks, have a tea or a coffee, play a board game for a couple of hours. Speaking of board games, have you seen Dave tonight?
I did see him. I don't know if I think we just kind of snuck in and did
he's the nicest guy.
Dave is a good guy.
Yeah, he really, really is.
He is really a good guy.
So,
and I also heard rumors that this is a very profitable Starbucks.
Oh. Well,
so I've heard that, that the corporate mucky mucks have come by several times just to see what he's doing here.
Oh my gosh.
Just to see his secret sauce of the Angels Camp Starbucks.
Well, if they come in tonight, we're going to put them right here, viewers.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
So, yes, we're here at the Angels Camp Starbucks. And
yes,
Dave,
we are.
The manager, does a wonderful job.
Yes, he does. We're having the best time here.
Knows most of the people, most of his customers by name.
I know. It's fabulous.
It's kind of like Cheers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The place to be.
Yeah.
without the alcohol.
Right.
Which is
Yeah.
good because we probably had too much over the holiday anyway.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
God, speaking of the holiday, did I tell you that I went shopping in San Francisco?
I didn't hear the story. I think my wife may
Oh,
have. But-
your wife may
and,
have
and
heard
if
it,
you're
yeah.
noticing, we just shoved Kim off camera here for
Yeah.
tonight. She's sitting over there. Because our producer Ed Lark at Cable, she's wearing a hat, so we know that's verboten. So we couldn't let her be on. We couldn't let her be on.
So I had the honor of coming in her place.
Yes.
So anyway, let me tell all you ladies about this fabulous
Right.
new area to shop in downtown San Francisco. 5 stories high. Right around 5 stories high. It's the new Westfield Mall. Stores I'd never even heard of. One of my favorite grocery stores of all times, Bristol Farms, is on the bottom floor. Fabulous food court. Oh my God! You get everything from sushi to,
Right.
prime rib sandwich. I mean, whatever you want, it's all there. And then you start. And this mall goes on forever. I mean, I am a shopaholic, and I'll be the first to admit it. I was getting tired. In fact, I
So
probably
you were getting tired.
yeah, I was
Wow.
actually even getting
Wow.
tired. I had shopped so much,
That's
So, I'm going to have to take on 10 jobs to pay
Just
for the
to-
plastic I burned over the holiday, John.
All right.
How about you? Are you a shopaholic too?
No,
No,
my
do-
wife is. My wife
Okay.
my wife's a wannabe shopper.
Oh, I want to be shopaholic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, do you mind if I take her out and teach her how to burn that plastic?
You won't get very far.
Speechless. Totally speechless. For the first time in my life, John is totally speechless.
No, it's now we had a good Christmas.
Yeah,
We did. We had a
good.
good Christmas. So and we're looking forward to a good year. And the interesting thing is, we were talking a little bit about on the air. This is like your 10th year anniversary for the
Sunset,
for
right,
Sunset,
right.
and we were looking at our. Oh, and she's gonna have a party on it later too.
Oh, I'm going to have a party
Yes, you're gonna have a party.
with 20 to 25 of my closest girlfriends. And I'm going to recreate the sunset meal. Some of them have never even met one another.
And this
so
one
I'm-
you could actually eat.
Yes, and this one you can actually eat.
So this is the one.
So I'm having old friends and new friends.
Nice.
And they're all going to come together and they're all going to make new friends, So I'm so excited to have that. In fact, my friend Patty Barton gave me a beautiful bottle of Chatham wine, and she had written on it, Happy Sunset, Jenny.
Right.
I've been saving it for 10 years.
Oh,
Because
wow.
I knew in 10 years I would want it to be special.
Right.
So we're going to open that bottle for the first night. She doesn't even know
Very
this.
nice.
So if you see her,
Very
don't tell
cool.
her.
Very cool. That's very nice. Well, what else is? I guess we better talk a little bit about news and what's been going on
Okay,
today,
yeah,
shall
let's.
we? No,
Sure.
So you want to help me with that today?
Of course.
Okay. So let's see what newsy stuff happened in the county today.
What newsy stuff happened in the county today? I don't have the foggiest idea. And speaking of fog, is that
Yes.
ever going to lift?
I don't know. I think it's supposed to blow through tomorrow.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think we're
great.
supposed to clean out tomorrow.
So it'll be back to shorts and halter weather?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah. All right. Well,
Okay.
A couple little things on tonight from today is one of the biggest ones. I guess a little bit on national stuff. A couple things we worked on the site today. All 5 of the living presidents had lunch today.
Oh, my gosh.
From Carter on, so there was, I guess Obama
See.
technically isn't yet because he hasn't
Well,
been
okay.
inaugurated, but we had Carter, Bush 1, Bush 2,
Oh my
Clinton,
gosh.
and Obama
Oh, my God. And where did they dine?
at the Oval Office.
Oh, in the Oval, of course. The Oval
In the
Office.
Oval Office. So we thought that was kind of a pretty cool thing.
I think it's a great thing.
And a little bit of a and I guess that's kind of a big jump, like 3 local stuff, but as you may have known a couple weeks ago, that the financing arm and also GM had basically pulled the plug on Prospect Motors in Amador.
Yes, I heard about
There
that.
has been a kind of a community effort to save the dealerships, and they're going to be holding a rally this Saturday at 10 a.m. at the old dealerships. And we just saw a press release come through on it today, and they're urging people whoever has had a car from Prospect Motors, they want to fill the
how
lots
wonderful.
again. Because there still is an opportunity that GM could say that, well, maybe these small towns do need a dealership, and they could actually reopen. So that's kind of the efforts are underway to try to save that the dealership.
Do you know what the big areas don't understand about our small town population?
Right.
We truly do support one another.
Yeah, we do.
Truly do support one another.
Yeah.
And I think that's wonderful that we're going to come together again and help a business. I mean, my God, we help families, we help businesses. If we were 3,000 miles away in Washington, D.C., you think this would be going on?
Never.
No, absolutely not.
And I think that, I think a lot of people realize, though, that is a business that for a lot of years, I mean, they employed 80 people there. And
it's a lot for a small.
that's a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a huge chunk,
Yeah.
not only for Amador, obviously for Amador with sales tax revenue and everything else, but also peripherally for Calaveras County as well, because
Sure.
there's probably a lot of the employees actually live
Absolutely.
here. So, remember, folks, if you're looking at calendar stuff, this Saturday at 10 a.m. at the dealerships there in Martell, they're going to try to get a rally together, and also they have email addresses that we have posted on our site where you can email the head of General Motors and also the head of GMAC, the financing arm,
my gosh,
to
great.
see if they can do that. And we think that's kind of a very cool thing to try to do that, and I think for our area needs it.
I think it's wonderful.
And one of the we've been seeing more of this lately, and it's kind of indicative of the slow economy. Last night, or early Tuesday morning, about 2:30 Tuesday morning, the Murphy's Hotel was robbed.
Really?
Murphy's Hotel was robbed about 2:30 in the morning. The janitor, a 40-year-old male janitor, was cleaning the hotel when he was confronted by a masked gunman. The gunman forced the janitor in the hotel kitchen, where he ordered the janitor to lay on the floor. The gunman then bound the janitor's hands behind his back with duct tape, placed a towel over the janitor's head. The janitor told him where basically the cash was and different things like that. And they have made 3 arrests. The sheriff's department made 3 arrests on that.
Good. They apprehended him.
Yeah. Additionally, the suspect disabled several of the surveillance cameras, but they were able to get enough footage from the cameras before they were disabled to make the arrest. And later in the afternoon, 12:15 p.m., detectives conducted a traffic stop in Arnold, and on a vehicle they believed was involved in the robbery, detectives found a bank bag containing cash believed to be stolen from the Murphy's Hotel. The arrested the driver, Jose Quintero of Arnold, his passenger, Erica Aguilar, 24, of Angels Camp. At approximately 3 p.m., detectives conducted a traffic stop on the 3rd suspect, Jesus Alvarez of Arnold, as well, to into custody of that incident. All 3 have been booked on with bails ranging a little over $300,000 each for basically false imprisonment, kidnapping, vandalism, and so forth. But you're seeing more of that in this area. You don't know if it's indicative of the economic climate or not, but it's kind of a sad state of things.
Well, let me kind of speak to that. I don't know if you know this, but my daughter owns a bail bonds business.
Oh, really?
And she was saying how, I thought this time of the year with all these things that are going on, the economy, she would be up to her neck in business, and she isn't. Bails have been very, very slow.
Nobody's committing.
So, I thought, maybe so much crime isn't happening as I thought there was, but maybe they're setting the bail so high. Like 300,000 is a lot of money.
Right.
Because that would be $30,000. So, and who has that kind of money in this economy? So that's probably what's happening more than anything else.
Yeah, maybe so.
And another little plug on what we're going to be doing this weekend is watch here on thepinetree.net, because we're going to be live streaming the Bear Valley Slalom this weekend. We'll have coverage both Saturday and Sunday. You will have several hundred skiers from the Central Series and the Sierras assembled to do slalom at Bear Valley. Young kids, up to 13, 14 years old. And this is a fun event. And the interesting thing is, even though these kids are chronologically young, they take it serious. And they're going to be really skiing like mad on Saturday and Sunday. We'll be along with pictures and video. We hope you stop by because it's kind of fun. I mean, the kids really go all out. And And I know we've talked a little bit about it the last couple of weeks. I don't think a lot of people realize is the ski programs that we have here in our backyard. I mean, there's been Olympic athletes that have come out of here. And so there's a lot of kids that have some big dreams. You know, so it should be fun to watch.
And kids should have dreams. And when they make one goal, they set another and go for that too.
Yeah. So you'd be like you did.
Exactly. I wanted to be in Sunset Magazine, and I was. I said, okay, what's the next thing? Well, I want to have my own TV show.
And you did.
And I did.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what else do you want to do? Well, I want to write a cookbook. Now I have even a bigger dream, but I'm not sharing it yet.
You're not sharing that one yet?
No.
Oh.
Can't let the cat out of the bag yet.
All right. Little more interesting stuff is we were sent an article today by Ken Churches, and this is on olives. Since we know that
I love olives.
we know that you're really into olives, and recent studies show that olives and olive oil help lower levels of bad cholesterol, reduce the risk of heart attacks and certain cancers. And interesting is his little state was on century-old olive trees have been saved.
Yay!
And so this is, it was like talking about all the olive-based diet, because how healthy that is and that kind of stuff. And this is one, and here was on a recent trip to Israel, Ken talks about how he was amazed to see 1,000-year-old olive tree being transplanted.
It's amazing.
And to save them from encroaching development. 1,000-year-old olive trees.
That's wonderful that they're doing that.
Yeah,
it really is.
Here locally, I don't know if this is something that we saw when we were out there, is they had some 100-year-old olive trees here in the county transplanted out to the Trinitas golf course area there from another development, and they've taken.
Yay!
Some of the Trinitas olive oil and stuff now is actually from transplanted 100-some-year-old olive trees. So,
well, being of Mediterranean descent, I was raised on olive oil. If I had an earache, my grandmother would take a spoon, put some olive oil in it, heat it over the flame on our gas stove, and in my ear it would go. We used to put olive oil into our hair. I mean, I go now into the city. I go into Berkeley and I buy the big, big bars of olive oil soap. Oh my God, they are wonderful. The best snack in the whole wide world.
The soap?
No.
Oh.
To take a piece of homemade pita bread, spread some feta cheese on it, put on some olives. Oh my God, it is so good, and it is so good for you.
Yeah.
Olives, I love olives.
I probably don't eat much olive oil. Should.
Oh, John, you should.
I need to make that as a.
It's wonderful.
Kind of as a New Year's
Have
resolution.
a tablespoon a day. Really.
I can't have any more than that?
No. No, I meant to just drink. Just drink a tablespoon a day.
All right. Okay.
And then when you go to bed at night, you rub it on your hands, and it makes them soft. Put them on your feet, and you put the socks on.
I need to do it.
Yes, and then with a little salt and pepper, and then Kim can roast you in the oven.
There we go.
Come out crispy.
Another little local announcement today is the CHP has welcomed a new area commander. CHP San Andreas will now be Lieutenant Tim Port is the new area commander for San Andreas CHP. Lieutenant Port was also stationed here from 97 to 2001, so he's familiar with the area, but we'd like to welcome him. Welcome to the area.
Welcome, Lieutenant Port.
And the interesting thing is his predecessor was promoted. So, and I'm making sure I'm waiting for my notes to open here.
Probably
he's
captain?
one with Sacramento. He's one of the administrative offices in Sacramento.
Gosh.
So,
big time.
He was promoted on up. So I think that's congratulations to him, and congratulations to Lieutenant Port, and welcome. And one of the things he was saying on this is that he's used to serving in major metropolitan areas, but it's nice to serve in a small county because you end up knowing everybody. You end up knowing all the business owners.
Absolutely.
You end up knowing, which is different.
Sure.
Because in a large metropolitan area, you kind of have that.
You don't have the camaraderie. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Just like we were talking about earlier.
Right.
Right. That's so important.
And there's also. What? Oh, my wife's helping me. Kim's helping me from the side because I'm doing it wrong here, which that's as you would expect.
Of course.
But, yeah. Now, one last thing here is we had a missing cat.
Oh, I
love
noticed
kitties. Since we last checked, there's 5 comments on it, so I better look at it. The cat may have been found. So let's see here. Missing cat, please help. We can check the usual hiding places. Snow. Now the cat is Buck, and he's missing an Arnold. And
Beautiful
it's from
black cat.
Roger and Peggy, Allie and Rion. Let's see here.
Any good news?
Somebody having suggestions? Try putting something you've slept in outside, or in a
Very
crate or
good.
a box.
Okay, that's a good idea.
He's
The
home.
Oh, yes!
Yep, he's home by 6. He was.
Where was he? Does
every
it say?
24. Let's see. Looks like he was in a fight.
Uh-oh.
So Buck was out bucking it up.
Yeah.
You know. So anyway, welcome home.
Buck.
Welcome home, Buck.
And we're so happy for you, Mom and Dad.
On that note, would like to say thank you for stopping by tonight. We'd like to thank Jenny.
Thank you for having me.
And telling us a little bit about
Sunset.
Sunset.
And
10 years.
everything else. And 10 years.
And setting goals and achieving them.
Absolutely.
Which works well for a new year. And also thank Starbucks for letting us do our show
I don't
tonight
think
for
they know
Starbucks.
we were doing it, John.
We just kind of
We just kind of snuck in and
We just kind of
sat in the corner and went up and ordered a drink.
And they just thought it was odd that they were sitting on one side of the table staring at a camera. But other than that,
But nobody said a word, so, you
other
know.
than that, I think it worked fairly well. Good night.
See you on the pine tree.
You got it. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Bye.